Yes. Excellent. And then, where are you starting this new chat?
DJ Properties General under your meeting.
Okay. So go ahead and submit that so I can add the link.
Okay. Just sent.
Done? Oh, you added it to the whatchamajig.
To yours.
Yeah.
So it's my phone.
Alright, now my computer's running slow. I think it's because of the
streaming.
Yeah.
This computer's running slow. There's nothing to stream. Shut down a whole bunch of crap.
Yes. Excellent. I think that should be good. I logged in twice. There's nothing to hear because it's not a meeting. Some people think it's a meeting. It's okay. We'll learn. Alright, so let's get started in 2 minutes. How's it looking over there?
I'm looking for the live stream.
There's 21 people already reached. Well, 25 people in the video, though I've said very clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You didn't assign that.
I'll put up sign.
No.
Yeah.
Oops. Let me silence this. Oh,
What?
I can see it on your screen.
Oh, you can? It's no problem. Home. Layout. There we go. Print to Mr. Xerox. All right.
Yeah, come in there whenever you're ready.
Looks like we have people in the wrong place.
Web conference?
Yep. Better be there or be square.
Totally square. The hell kind of meeting?
And you are in the wrong place. You need to be on YouTube. This is not a Teams video conference. So we're going to be on. Please exit this video conference and go into DJ Properties team site there's a link to the YouTube video for today's meeting. All right. All right, so I had a bunch of managers in the wrong place. Looks like they're logging out. Hello, everyone. So, thank you for being here. Sorry, we're getting started a little bit late here, but there were some people in the wrong place. They're starting to drop out now. It's going out. They should be joining us in just a minute. How many? We have Mark here as well.
Hi, everybody.
Is that him? You see?
I do not. Let me double check.
Do you see yourself?
Right here.
There you go. There's drinking the tears of the people he's offended. Love his glass, everyone. Best cup in the office. Sorry, touched your glass. Jeez. All right. So welcome to today's YouTube webinar about Teams. So there's been a lot of questions through either the DJ Properties team site, the general channel, and a lot of texts and emails coming into me about different problems you guys have had. If you can, if you're logged into YouTube, go ahead and there's a chat function there on the right-hand side of the screen. Send us a line if you have any questions. Mark's going to throw out any questions. I'm going to go over a few major concerns real quick, and then I'll start answering some questions, and we'll go from there. I'm going to try to keep it to an hour. If it does go over a little bit, it's no big deal. If you miss the beginning or the end of this webinar, it's not the end of the world. It will be saved online here in the team site. The link is going to be active. YouTube saves it for us, so you'll be able to see all of the whole video stream later on. But yeah, so this is where you should be. You should be at YouTube, not within the video conferencing within Teams. That only allows 25 people at a time, and we can't use that function for the whole company. So thank you for being here. I'm going to jump into some questions that have come up to me regarding the use of Teams. One thing I do want to follow up with, there were some questions on how files should get properly named and all that. I'm just going to walk you through. If you take a look here at the DJA Properties General tab, you see that we have all of our tabs at the top here. Conversations, files, and then we have a few Yammer channels like Health and Wellness, which is a new Yammer channel that's gotten started for the company. So log in there and you can see things are going on as far as health and different like yoga stuff and whatever. It's still kind of new, so we're still working on it. Then there's also community service, which is something else that we're working on. And then we have a Yammer channel for the whole company as well, which we're trying to get everybody in there, but we're still working on that. At the very end here, you see Microsoft Teams for DJA. That's that document that we're using for labeling our files and folders and all that. I just wanted to cover some things on that real quick because there's been some concerns. I did make some edits to it yesterday, and I updated the whole company on that file structure and naming convention formats. So one thing that has changed is the invoices. And I know there's been a lot of hell raising about that problem. It was quite cumbersome, all the scanning that had to be done. So we spoke yesterday with the HMS committee, or MSH committee, and we determined that we're going to simplify the method a bit. Some things that it was supposed to do wasn't quite working the way we wanted. So we said if that's the case, we might as well just change our process. So we're requiring that in the invoice folders, you have a year folder for every year. Well, right now it'll just be 2019. And then for the month of April, you should write out April. That's what it means by April here. And then everything that's in black, as you can see, black lettered text is the actual document or file name, right? Anything that's colored are subfolders or folders, subfolder organizations, okay? So just keep that in mind that that's what you're looking at when you're looking at this document, okay? This is going to be very important now and in the near future. So just please review this document very carefully. We've posted it like 5 times, and I've even added it as a tab at the top of our DJA Properties team. There's no point in printing this out because it's going to change as the company changes, as we make this process better. So remember, the ultimate idea with the team environment is to try to reduce printing. Printing is an outdated method that once you print something, it's there, it doesn't change. Our company is constantly changing and will constantly be changing. And therefore, we need documents that are always up to date, always accurate, and most current. So make sure that we're reading this document, and I'll let you guys know of any updates that we do to it. As you can see, there's been a few updates. But yeah, make sure that we are looking at this often. And if I'm posting something in the DJA Properties tab, make sure that we are keeping an eye out. Okay, so that was one of the concerns that we've had, people misnaming files. So please watch out that these filing conventions are being taken care of. I have logged into a few of your properties and seen that this is not happening. We're being very lenient right now, but soon we will start calling people out on naming your files and your folders wrong. Okay, so just want to make sure that we put that out there, that right now we're being patient, but soon we won't. So with that said, there's been some other concerns that have come to my attention. One of them was that files are not able to be uploaded, and we've had some managers just in the last half hour. In fact, this whole week has been this problem. The reason some of you are not able to upload a file into in other words, you're taking a file from your computer and dropping it into your team site. So let's say, for example, I have this guy here, property takeover checklist, and if I put a number symbol in there, any type of special character, Teams does not like. So please do not use special characters in the naming of your files. First of all, these are the conventions that we're using at Dick James and Associates. So please do not use those type of file names, those type of characters in your file names. You shouldn't have them anyway. What you see here is what we are requiring for your properties naming conventions for all properties. Okay, so I'll go into an HMS committee here, for example. Remember, the general way that we're going to drop folders in submit folders is you find the location where you're going to put the file. For instance, miscellaneous test files. I'm going to minimize my screen. This is where I want to drop my file. I take my file and I drop it in here. Now, this will give me an error because the file is misnamed. As you can see, the following characters are not allowed. So it's not allowing me to upload this file because it has a character that is not Teams approved. Okay, so make sure that when you're naming your files, it shouldn't even have that because it's not part of our file naming conventions. So if I did take this file properly named and drop it in my folder, it should have no trouble being uploaded to Teams. In fact, you see right there, it happened really fast. Okay, so number one reason why files are not being uploaded to Teams is because you have characters that are in your file name. There has been another concern that came up, and we're actually working on it right now. We're trying to figure out what's going on. There is a few properties having this problem. When you upload your monthly report into your, I'm just going to delete this real quick, just so I don't forget about it later. What's happening is some properties, give me 1 second here. Some properties are uploading monthly reports. This probably doesn't have anything in it yet, but let's take a look. There's nothing here. Give me a moment. Let me find Bella Point, for example. In the certain files, we have, for instance, monthly reports. I hope this one has it. Doesn't have it. This is a problem. So I'm noticing this a lot. you guys are not uploading your files, the monthly report should already be in here. It doesn't matter if you're currently working on it or not. So these people are not reading the instructions, so that's very frustrating. Everybody, I've explained very carefully how we're meeting today. It's through YouTube, not through Teams. There's people trying to contact me through through other methods. So let's see here. Let's go to Corona del Sol. Let's see if this one has it. Well, we're noticing a lot of managers are not uploading your files. I think you think that you need to have it done and then upload it. That's not the point. The point is we want to have the files there. They live within the team environment, and you update them from there. So you can see there's a lot of managers that are not quite there yet, but it's okay. We're getting there. It's a work in progress. But yeah, your everything, all your maintenance, all your monthly reports, all your weekly reports should be uploaded into the team site. All you have to do is start a conversation on them, and that's how you basically submit, even though you're not submitting files. Let's see if this one is working out. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So we have finally properly named file 19 for the year, 04 for the month, the property code, ELC, and then monthly report. Beautiful. Thank you, Al Caprice. It looks exactly the way it should, right? And so that file, what's been happening is when on your properties, it's saying that you can't view the file online. And this is an issue we're having. We're actually working on it. We'll have a solution by the end of the week, if not early next week. So just give us some time. We're trying to figure out what's causing that. It looks like it's a toolbar issue. We're not entirely sure what that toolbar is. Even though it says toolbar, I don't believe it's actually a toolbar issue because I've looked everywhere online and there's no actual solution to that problem. But if you are experiencing that problem, don't stress. The file is there. You can't see it, but we can. We're able to because we have the ability to open the file in Excel. You're just able to open the file in Excel online or within the Teams, and because it doesn't let you. That's why you're not seeing it. But we're able to open it, so it's no biggie. So yeah, those are the big things that I've seen this last week. One more thing I do want, a smaller item. There are some managers that are posting conversations in the confidential area. That is not for managers to communicate within. That is only for DJA office staff. Okay, so that's just the communications. It's visible to everyone. Okay, even though it says confidential, really it's the files that are confidential, not the conversation. So please don't post anything there thinking it's confidential from everybody else. It's actually not. Okay, and the only place where you should be making your daily communications is within your general tab for your property. Okay, this specific property is very small. It's only 4 units, so that's why there's not much going on there. But for some of the larger properties, like for instance Arden Park, there's probably more communications there. Yeah, so make sure that, see, we also have some files that are being mislabeled. But yeah, anyway, yeah, if you do have any questions, we're going to go check the live stream now, the live chat, and the other areas for questions. Mark, any questions?
No questions so far.
No questions so far. It's good. I can talk till next Wednesday. I have many issues that do come up. Did we check the YouTube?
Let me double check YouTube right now.
Yeah. So if you do have any questions, please post them. Mark started a stream there saying, please post your questions. If that's if you did have a question. So finally got the link, but okay. Gray screen. It says there's no video. I'm not sure what Arbor Ridge 1. It says you're seeing a gray screen. You guys are seeing gray screens. Interesting. Let me double check the view here. Pretty sure it's working. Yeah. So you can see I'm able to see it just fine. So you got to click on the link. Yeah. Some managers are having issues seeing today's broadcast. Not sure why that is. It's literally just a link right there. You click that and it opens up a YouTube video. But No questions? No questions. Okay. All right, David, please.
We do have one question actually.
Mhm.
From Ada Regency Cove, where do we upload the monthly summary?
Yes, this is actually a very good question. We just got an answer on it this morning. So what's going to happen? We're reviewing the whole process on the monthly summary, the property summary reports that you do, where you show on a monthly basis what new appliances, new installed items, or anything like that, and then like your 1 to 2 paragraph summary of what's happened on your property in the last month. That report. We're working on restructuring that, reworking the idea behind that. But for right now, there's no file location. So what you're going to do is you're actually going to save that file. Let's go to a property that probably has something. Let's say for Arden Villa, you're going to go to your files. You're going to go to your monthly reports. Managers, monthly reports. And then you're going to paste it, you're going to upload it, not paste it, excuse me. You're going to drop it right in here with the same basic format. So 1904 AV property summary. And I'll add that. We literally just got an answer about an hour and a half ago on that. So how we're going to be doing that temporarily. It will change in the next coming months, but for right now, we're going forward with business as usual. So 1904, your property code, and then property summary. And I will add that to our DJA Teams, Microsoft Teams for DJA document so that everybody knows how that gets updated. Okay? So that's the first question. I saw another question about move-outs. So how to upload, or what's the process on move-outs? That's a beautiful question because we've had a lot of concern on that. I don't have an exact file to show an example of, but I'm going to go to a property where I'm relatively confident things are happening the way they should. And that is Casa del Coronado. I'm pretty sure, and that's in Arizona. I hope I'm not putting anybody on the spot. I'm going to try out this property. Where are we at? Casa del Coronado. Do you see it? I don't see it. There we go. So in their general tab, there we go. So we have move out charge. These are actually the old filing names. We're not using those file names anymore. She was still using those. It's no big deal. But yeah, so basically we go to the file. Files location, we go to move out charges, and in the move out charges you have 2 folders. In this area you would have your master document, so you can keep your master right here, and then you could save as your master to create new copies of your monthly. So let me give you an example. Let's give this a shot. Where do I have it? Move out charges. So let's say, I'm going to do a quick example here. This is very rough, but I'm going to try our best. Excuse me, I've got a sore throat. I'm uploading the file. This is our master file, okay? So I'm going to rename this file. Using our file name conventions, okay? So I'm going to go back to my team site here just to see what that file convention naming style is for our move outs. And you can see here we have move out. So the move out is move out, XX is our property name, the number of the unit, and the dash last name. So move out, property name, unit number, dash last name. Okay? So I'm going to go back to Casa del Coronado there. There we go. Sorry, Sylvia, if I'm putting you on the spot, but it's all good. Move out charges. There we go. So I'm going to rename this file. Very important thing to remember. Files need to be named properly before you drop them into Teams or before you ever start a conversation on the file. Very important. The reason why, once you've started a conversation on a file, it gets added to your conversation area, and then that link has been created to a file name. So it's linked to that file name. If you change the file name later, that link is broken within your conversations area. So you want to make sure that anything is done in advance. Okay, anything like that is done in advance. So we have move out, right? That's the first thing, just MO, and then we have the property code. For instance, CDC. That's the Casa del Coronado short code, and then we have their unit number, which I'll just say for now is, I don't know, 22 or 00. This is a master, right? So there's nothing here to really identify. And I believe I've named that correctly. I just want to double check. But yeah, that's our master file. So once we edit this file, we open it. Okay, this is the preview. Okay, so I'm going to go in and edit this file online. When it takes me online, I can now make this file specific to a move out. Okay, the specific residence move out. Okay, so I'm not going to go through the whole thing here. I'm going to walk you through the basics, and that is, first thing we do is we want to save a copy. Okay, we're going to do a save as, because this original file is read-only, right? So I'm going to say save as online, and I'm going to rename this file now for apartment Why is it not letting me edit? I think it's just taking a while to upload. Let me try that one more time. So save as. Why is it giving me a tough time on that? Okay, I don't know why the clicking wasn't working, but yeah. I'm going to delete this and I'm going to type in the unit number, 22, right? And then the last name I'll say is Jones. All right, so move out charges for Casa del Coronado, unit 22, last name was Jones. Just pick the first person on the lease and their last name there. And I'm going to save that. When I save that, now that file is being saved in the same location. This is a incomplete, or just I'm working on this file. Okay? So I go back to my Teams here. I'm going to close this real quick, just so you can see how this file, where this file is being saved. You can see now I'm working on this move out for Jones. This file is pending. I haven't sent it as an estimate to Linda. I haven't finalized it. I haven't done anything with it. I'm just working on it. This is where you leave your file for in progress. I haven't submitted anything yet, right? You leave it in your general move outs folder. As it progresses through completion, we move it to estimates folder, final, and then finally collections. So I'll walk you through those steps real quick. Let's go back to online here. So now my file, you can see I'm working on move out charges for Jones, right? And it's been saved. It's automatically being saved online. Let's say I make an edit here. I'm just gonna type the names here. So, all right, Sarah Jones. This was an estimate sent on 5/1, right? And then whatever, you'll fill out all this information. I won't do it now, but you get the idea. Okay. This was just a sample, so there's a lot of missing information here, but good and bad example at the same time. So yeah, so now this file has been saved in my kind of my move out charges, which is pending, right? But once I've sent it, for instance, if I sent this file like yesterday, I can now close it, and I can go into the team site, and I want to click on my file, and I can actually, you can exit that. Sorry, we'll move the file now into the sent folder. Excuse me. So that can be done easily by clicking the ellipsis here at the end, clicking the 3 dots, and say, move this file. Okay. Now I'm going to move this file from the move outs charges into the estimate. So I'm going to now make this an estimate. Okay. So I'm moving that file into the estimate folder, and I just say move, because now I'm in the estimate folder. You can see right there. Okay. So move. And it takes a second to update, where this file will now move into the estimate folder. I think I still have it open somewhere. Someone has it open. Let's try that again. Looks like I didn't want to move. And it could be that if someone has the file open at the same time, it could have a trouble moving the file. Let's see. Oh boy. So we're having issues. It sounds like someone might be in that file at the same time. So let's open it up again and see what's going on there. See if anybody else is. I'm going to open in Excel online. See if anybody else is using this file. It's just you. Okay. So it says I'm the only one using this file right now. But I'm not sure why that's having an issue. So let's go back to Teams. I'll close that. I'm not sure why we're having an issue there. Unless I had the file open in another place. I don't believe anybody else has this file open, but we'll try this one more time, see what's happening. We'll move this to the estimate sent folder. Yeah, I'm not sure why the heck that's happening, so we'll have to look into that. But that's generally the way you move a file. Right now, I think because we have multiple people online, I think there's probably someone has the file open or is viewing the file, or something's going on. Normally that's not the case, but yeah, looks like we're having a little bit issue with who's working on this file right now. So you would just move that file over to your estimates, and then from your estimates you move it from the estimate folder once it's done. So you can see here she has a whole bunch of estimates that are being waiting for to be finalized, and once they need to be finalized, for instance, I'm just going to do one real quick. I'll remember to move it back. So Sandoval, no, I didn't mean to click on it. Sandoval, I'll click the 3 ellipses right here, and I'll move that one to the finals folder. Now, if this gives me trouble, we're going to have fun time. There you go. So it has been moved. That file moved easily because I think someone else is not using it or previewing it or something like that. So if I go back now into finals, you'll see that Sandoval, there he is. Now I'll move him back just because I don't want to cause any problems for the manager there. So I'll move it back now. I'll show you how you can move files backwards. Right now the file exists in the files folder, in the finals sent. I'll click on the estimates, and now it moves it back into the estimate folder. So I'll move that file there. Okay. Alright, there you go. Give it a second to update. And oh, we're in the wrong folder. There we go. Estimates. And there's Sandoval back in the estimate folder where it belongs. Okay, so that's how you move files from one location to the other. That's how you upload a file, all that. Now, I'll go back to move out charges here. We have our Jones file. After you've uploaded a file and you're ready to basically submit. So remember, we don't actually submit files anymore. We just start conversations on files, and we acknowledge someone, we mention someone, and that way they know to review a file. So I'll click on this file here, and now I'm in the Teams preview area, and I'll start a conversation. And what start conversation does is it now moves this file into our conversations tab within our team site, and I can mention someone here. For instance, I'll say at Linda. Okay, Linda, ready for review. Right? Now you're just letting Linda know that this document is ready for her to review to make sure it looks good to send to an accountant and all that. So the first step in the process of move outs is sending it to Linda. Linda lets you know if there's any corrections that need to be made to it. If there's any corrections, you take care of those. Once you're done, you mention her again, say, hey, I'm all done with those corrections. And then she informs the accountant that it's ready to either cut the check or send a IDSD back to the resident, the previous resident. Okay, so once I send that, you can see Linda now, because this name here is, because her name is in purple, that link gives her an activity notification here. She's now notified that your move out is ready for her to review. Okay, as you can see, this conversation here, if I close this guy here, if I go back to our property conversation area, you can see that I have started a conversation on move out CDC 22 Jones, and I said, hey Linda, ready for review. Right now Linda has the opportunity to respond to you, and you can view this is kind of your, like, all of your conversations, okay, happening within the conversation area. But if you go to the specific file, you can see just the conversation on that specific file and see where you're at with that file. If I click on that file, you see the panel here on the right. Okay, now you can actually toggle the panel on and off. If you don't see the conversation tab, you can click it by clicking this little I don't know, I'm sure what it's called, like a call out button here, and you can see what the conversation has been on that file. And this helps us in the future know what have we talked about when we're talking about this file. So first thing, we upload the file, we make sure it's named properly, update the information in the file. Once we're ready, we mention the person, for instance, in this case, Linda, that the file is ready for review. When it's done for review, then she will mention the accountant that is going to either pay the check, pay the resident back via a check, or send them an IDSD with a bill. So yeah, that's a long answer to a kind of a short question, but it's actually a big one. This one, the move outs one, is a big process that we need to get the hang of. But just remember now that this, so if I close this file, I hope this will work. Let's try it again. Once you're done and you've sent it to her as an estimate, you can then should be able to do this. I'm not sure why it didn't work earlier, but we'll try this one last time. We sent it as an estimate. Let's try it one more time. There you go. Success. I think someone closed out of that file. But yeah, it took a while, but we got there. I think someone had it open or of some sort, and it was causing problems. But yeah, so now that file, I've sent it to Linda, which means the estimate has been taken care of, right? And that file exists right here, right now. And I can click on it, and the conversation comes with it. Okay? The conversation comes with that file. Doesn't matter where you move it, which is really great. Okay? And if, let's say, for instance, we're done with the estimate process, right? We're ready to move this into the finals. So I'll comment it, move it to the final area. I'll move it to the final folder. You can see here, from move outs to estimates to final. That's the logical progression of our files, right? I'm going to move it to there. Okay, the file has been moved to our finals sent folder, and now what I can do on this file, I can click on it, and when you send a final, what do you also send? You send invoices and lease documents and stuff like that, right? So what we can do is we can actually now attach, or in this case I wouldn't necessarily attach it, but you can upload your file to the file location. For instance, let's give you an example. We have lease documents and invoices and stuff like that, right? I'm just for purposes of example here, let's pretend, actually no, let's pretend that this file here is our, remember how lease documents and invoices are for move-outs are labeled. So we have docs, right, or doc, and then for this property CDC 22 Jones, and this is our going to be our lease documents and our maybe even your invoices for that move out. Okay, and those are sent with the estimate, and then the invoices are sent with your finals, right? When you've sent your finals, you also attach those. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my team site and close this. In my finals folder, that took a second, I'm going to drag and drop that file, right? I'm going to drag the file, hover over Teams, it opens Teams, and I'll drop that file here. And right now my folder is being it's being organized by modified. If you can see this little arrow, it's showing you how it's being ordered. I like to do it by name, because that means that my files will should get, oh, maybe not. Modify is probably better in this case. These two files here, the move out and the documents, are next to each other. So what I want to do now is I want to attach these lease documents to the Jones file. So click on the Jones Excel file, okay? And I want to like marry them together within the conversations area so that I can open up the Excel file and see what other documents were attached to that. So in here, I'll press the attach button and I'll say, I'm going to browse through my Teams channel, okay? Now I'm going to go to move outs, estimates, finals, okay? And then here is that document, okay? I'm going to click on the document. It's going to give me two options. Upload a copy, which I don't want to upload anything, right? Don't ever upload a file. You want to share the link. And that's going to now add the link to our conversation here for that, for the files, the documents, the lease documents that have to do with the Jones for apartment number 22. So I'll share the link. And now you can see it's not been sent yet. It's just, so now I can make a comment here and tell @Linda, right? Here are here are the lease documents for Unit 22. Or here are the invoices for Unit 22. You get the idea, okay? So now when I send this, the move out charges and the lease documents and maybe even our invoices later can be all attached in one conversation stream, okay? So I'll close this now and I'll go back to our conversations area so you can see within the conversation threads how move outs kind of happen. You have the move out and then you have the lease documents, and probably lower you would have invoices and all that. And I believe I've answered the general questions on that there. So if there are any questions more on that topic, please let me know. So Mark, any other questions that came up through the
Priscilla
chat?
at Linwood asked,
Priscilla Linwood.
what do we put in files maintenance reports?
Ah, good question. So general files, maintenance reports. So I encourage to ask yourself a question. Are you a maintenance technician as a manager? You are not. Therefore, don't worry about it. So, quick answer, don't worry about it. This has actually got to do with the whole maintenance side of the property. That's something that's done by your maintenance supervisor and your maintenance technician on site. Okay? So, don't worry about that folder at all. The maintenance reports, if there is anything in there that you need to be made aware of, someone will let you know. You can upload like contracts, estimates, proposals in this folder here. If you need to let your supervisor know of a proposal that came in from a contractor or something like that, yeah, you can go ahead and upload a file and then start a conversation on that file and letting him know that that the file is ready for him to review. But as far as the maintenance reports, don't worry about that. That's all on the maintenance division side of the company. So, questions? Others?
Nothing so far.
Nothing else. Wow, that's great. I'm sure there are many other questions. I'm going to check my chat here as well. I have a few that came in. How can we send weekly reports by email to the owner? Oh, very good question. How do you send weekly reports by email to your owner? This is an interesting one. It came in from a few different properties. I love that question. So I'll walk you through that. So I use Office Outlooks, the desktop version. You're using the one online, but basically it's going to work the same way. So you're going to start a new email. Okay, you're going to send it to, let's say, owner, whatever. There's nobody with that email, so I'll just say Mark for now. Mark's going to get an email. He'll delete it later. And then the subject is weekly or monthly, right? Whatever type of report you're trying to send your owner, right? And say, right? Obviously, you wouldn't just write that much. You would be a little more cordial with your owners. So what you're going to do is you're going to attach a file. And as you can see, down here at the bottom, we have something called Browse Web Locations. Okay, Web Locations. If you look here on the on that sub tab, you have a few different areas. You have Dick James and Associates. You can click on that one, or the sites. It's the same thing. So I'm going to click on Dick James and Associates, and it's going to pull up a bunch of different options here. Well, I have like 1 million properties and a million different things. You'll probably just see your general tab for DJA properties, team site, and the general tab for your property. For instance, Linwood Knolls or Gold Creek, right? I have a whole list of them because I see a lot more properties. But you'll just see yours. So I'll just pick the general tab for the HMS. Let's say, do we have a property here anymore? Ridgewood. Okay. So monthly reports area for. Hold on a second. Yeah. So what it's going to do is it's going to open the SharePoint site on that. And I can just find the, so this is Ridgewood Gardens, the general tab, monthly reports here, and I can now just pick one of those monthly reports there. I'm going to go, let's go to another site. Let's see if it'll let me, no, it doesn't want me to let me, bummer. If I go to, documents, general, yeah, and you can see here are your subfolders, your folders and subfolder menus, monthly reports, monthly managers reports, and then we would just upload that document. Okay, and now it's going to ask you, do you want to share the link or do you want to attach a copy? I prefer that you share the link, not attach a copy. Now, why? A copy of a file is that file right now. If you go and edit it 5 minutes from now, or a month from now, or whenever, that file will, the file that you sent the owner will be just like an attachment. We don't want to do that because what if he wants to open it up in 2 or 3 days from now and you made an update 5 minutes from now. He's going to see what you sent him at that time. So if you send a link, he's going to be able to see that file as it changes, okay? Or after any changes have been made after you've sent this email. So you want to send a link. That's the preferred way. And you press share a link, and now it attaches the file, but only the link to the file. He doesn't actually have the file. When he gets this, I'm going to even add myself here so you can see how this works. I'll send this, and then I'll get myself an email here. You'll see, let's say, for instance, the owner is me in this case. Review. Okay, so I open up that email. Let's say I'm the owner, and when I click this, you can see it's a djproperties.com SharePoint link. It's not the actual file. I click that, and I say open file. And it says open. It'll ask him if he wants to save it on his computer. He may want to save it on his computer, but it'll open up Excel Online for the owner. Now this one, remember that problem we're having with viewing files online? I'll just open it in Excel. And there you go. Now the owner is going to be able to view that file. So that's how you're going to do it. You're going to attach it. You're going to go to, and there's the file. You're going to make an attachment. I can't do the example again, but you attach the file, browse online sources or cloud source or something like that, and then find DJ Properties for and find your subfolder. And that's basically how you solve that problem. Any other questions?
Another question from Solaire. What should we send through email?
What? Oh, this is a really good question. When it has to do with your property, nothing gets sent through email. Basically, everything should be done within the team environment, because the team environment has every mode of communication available to you. Text, done via the chat. Okay? The chat is a way for, look, for instance, this is a conversation between me and Gold Creek, just us two individuals, right? There's another chat I have here with just Shadi, Sophia, and Todd. Another one I have with just myself and Andrew, right? A lot of different chats can happen in your chat window, okay? That's a really great way of communicating on just small things. Now, even in the chat window, you can attach files and still have a conversation with one person. So your email is basically not going to be used in the same capacity as it used to. In fact, my emails have probably dropped by almost 80%. Have dropped in how many emails I've been getting just since we've started using Teams with the whole company. So yeah, in general, email basically for nothing. So chat is great for communications between you and another individual or a group, right? Like I want to start a group with a group chat with someone, and that's done easily by up here at the top we have the new chat button. I click that. Let's say I'm going to start a new chat with Mark, and let's say we want to do Linda, right? And let's say I also want to do Amy there. Okay, click Amy, and now I don't know if you see this guy right here. It's kind of hard to see probably from your screen, but if I click that, I can even name this group. Okay, best chat, right? So best chat group ever, and I can now that chat group, it has a name. Okay, I have a specific name for that group. Let's say I'm working on a little project, like trying to solve a little issue. I name that group so I know what that group, why I put that group together, right? And it was because we're the best group ever. Okay, so yeah, Mark's like, darn right. And now I can start a conversation. Hey, yo. So, or y'all. Let's do that. Hey, y'all. There we go. And they could probably respond, and Mark probably respond in that group. And so we are now a chat group. Okay. So you can have a chat with a specific person as a group. Okay, now if you want to chat with your team, that's where we go into the Teams tab here, right? The Teams tab is your property, where you have the property name and then your general tab, this is the area where you're going to have conversations about your property. So don't use chat when we're talking about our properties, right? Now, if it's something that's just personal between me and someone else, like I want to talk to Nelly about my W-2, I'm going to start a chat on that, right? I don't want to announce that to my whole team or the whole company going into DJA Properties, right? We want to have a private conversation with just that person. And here's Mark saying, sorry, can't talk, helping with this webinar.
Rolling eyes emoji.
Rolling eyes emoji. Anyway, so we want to make sure that when we're communicating, that we're using all these features. Email is an outdated, very old way of communicating. Yes, we've been using it for a long time. Yes, we're very comfortable with it, but you'll see as you get used to Teams, you'll fall in love with all its awesome features like the chat feature, the groups chat feature, the Teams conversation area, right? Another great place. And then obviously you have the ability to either just someone within your team, like let's say Linda, right? Or start at Linda. I can speak with just Linda, or I can speak with just Mark. I'm using only these two examples because I don't want to bring anybody else into this. Or anybody else that is within your team. Now, how do you know who's on your team? This has been a question. So on your team name, there's 3 dots here. If I click the more options, I can say manage team. And inside manage team, you get to see everybody who is on that team. It starts with the owners at the top, and that's basically everybody at the main office that has some relationship to your property. And below that, we have members, which is Linda and the manager themselves. Okay, everybody else is owners at the main office, and then members and guests are at the bottom here. Okay. Owners have the ability to change large-scale things, and then members are just people who are in in those conversation areas and able to add, upload, work on files together. Okay, so if you're ever confused on when to use email, email is basically used for outside the company conversations. Yeah, for instance, our owners. We want to send the owner an email on our weekly or our monthly reports. That would be done via an email, and I walked you through how to do that, how to attach the files from your team site to attach that file. Okay. Any other questions?
Toscana Court and Reserve at Cadillac asked, where do we upload overtime? And that's a good question.
Where do we upload overtime? That is an interesting question.
Turn the camera towards me.
Yeah. So I'm going to turn this over to Mark. How's that? Are you in frame?
That works.
Yeah.
Okay. So currently we're utilizing emails. That is a really good question. That's definitely something that we'll speak with other members of payroll, and we will start utilizing Teams. Probably for this pay period, just continue to email that in. We never really, thought of utilizing Teams, but we will in the coming pay periods.
Yeah. Yeah. So as far as timesheets and overtime reports and all that, requests for time offs, those type of things, continue doing things as usual. So business as usual on those topics. Any other questions?
John, our maintenance supervisor.
John, thank you for tuning in, John. So happy to hear from you.
If I make a mistake and post a folder on the wrong team, how do I move it to the proper team?
Oh, very good question. Very good question. How do you move a file from one team to another? Well, because of his ownership permissions, that's going to be a lot easier than for a manager because you're not an owner. But in general, it's this would be the process. So let's say I'm in the HMS committee. MSH committee. I'm gonna get this right one day. I promise. I promise I'm gonna get it right. Or maybe we just rename the team like me and Jack were talking about earlier. Okay, so let's say, for instance, I have new teams instruction, right? Or I'm going to go to the test miscellaneous file. So let's say this file was posted or uploaded in the MSH committee, but I need to move it to a different team. It can be very easy or it can be very difficult. It depends on the team you're trying to move to and what your permissions are. So the 3 buttons here on the end, more options, we're going to move the file. The best way to do this, I'll show you first. Okay, the best way to do it is move it to your personal OneDrive account, which every property has, every email has in our company, and then move it to the other team. So it's kind of like putting it in a different location and then moving it to the correct location. So that file, I'm going to move from here to my OneDrive account, my personal OneDrive account, and I'm just going to put it down here at the bottom. Oh, that's going to be a terrible location. I'm going to drop it in the DJA apartment right here. I'm just going to drop it in there because it's going to be easier since it's my files are so many. So I'm going to move it right there in that folder. So now it's going to move this file from the HMS committee. It's going to remove it from there. And now, this is a very good question. I love this question because it introduces a whole new concept. Managers, maintenance, supervisors, everyone in the company, the files area right here are your personal OneDrive files. So I click there. And now this is my OneDrive account. Let me give it a second to load because I have a million files in here. Oh, sorry, no, it's right here. I have to click on which folder because I'm right in recent. So I say click on OneDrive. And these are all the folders that I have and all the files I have, right? I go to apartment inspection, and then now this file exists in here. Now this is kind of a long way of doing it. There's a shorter way if you have the right permissions. But yeah, now I want to move this file to the correct location. And so now I can move it from my OneDrive to another team site. And let's say, for instance, I want to post it in the DJA properties, our main office area, team site. I'm going to click on General because that's the tab we want to add it to, and I'll just add it at the bottom of my Generals tab there. Okay, and now it's going to move from my OneDrive account to my other team site. So yeah, if you want to move a file from one team to another team, that's the way to do it. Just make sure you're dropping it in the correct folder. Okay, as you can see now in the OneDrive, it's been removed from here. And if I go back now to my teams, and I go to the office team, general files area, there is that monthly report that I moved from HMS into the office team. Okay? So that's the kind of the longer way around that, but it's the way it's going to work for you for sure. The faster way of doing this, if you have the right permissions, is you click on the file, click Move, and it's going to ask you where do you want to move it to. I'm going to say click on Browse Team Channels. I'm going to press the up arrow, and now I can see all my team sites that I have. Now, like I said, you don't always have all these available, so it depends on your permissions. So now I'll move it back to my HMS team in the general folder, and I'll add it back in test files where it originally moved from. That's the fast way of doing it, depending on if you have the right permissions or not. Okay, and so now that will be removed from my office team, and it'll be added back into my HMS MSH. We're changing the name of this just for me, right? Yeah, there you go. There's my file. Now it's been moved back into my MSH team general file tab. I got it right.
Yes.
All right. Next question.
Next question.
We're at the end of our day, but we'll keep going.
Are we ever going to upload the Home Depot invoices since they're an account that gets approved by a maintenance supervisor, or no? Or should I just give them to a maintenance supervisor when they come to our property?
Wow, that's a loaded question. So the Home Depot invoices, or excuse me, receipts, really, because I'm not sure if we're talking. Did they say receipts or
It
invoices?
says invoices. Not
Okay.
I'm guessing receipts.
I'm thinking you're referring to receipts. Because I'm imagining your maintenance guy went to Home Depot, he bought some items, came back with a receipt from a phone sale. I believe I'm understanding this correct. If I'm not, please respond and Mark will call you out. And that receipts. Yes, receipts. All right. So receipts, yes. It would be basically the same way you would upload invoices. Just that on that batch of invoices, you're going to not just mention your accountant that, hey, here are the invoices for this week. You're also going to mention the maintenance supervisor and say, hey, this go ahead and take a look at this. Inside here is your receipt. Okay, that's the best way of doing that. But it's got to go to your accountant as well. They've got to see that. They've got to add that to their documentation. But mention both people, right? Mention your accountant. Let's say Shaw, for example, and then comma mention John Dallas, okay? And then say, hey, here are the invoices for this week. John, please take a look at the Home Depot receipt for the maintenance guys going out there. Okay? Any other questions?
Does the Microsoft team for DJA have a folder with all notices we can use in the property in PDF format? For example, in case we need a 3-day notice or any other notice.
Yes, and thank you so much. That's a wonderful question. I'm glad you guys are asking these questions. In the files area, for DJA properties, under apartment management, approved forms is not up yet. We've been so swamped with just launching Microsoft Teams. I haven't uploaded them yet, but they will be here eventually. They are not here yet. All the forms will be PDF, fillable PDFs for you to be able to type into directly. But I don't have those up yet. Sorry, that's my next big project. It is empty right now, but it will, and I will let everybody know once we have those up. But it's a wonderful question. Those will be up soon. I promise. I promise. Next question. Any other questions? Let's see if I've gotten any mentions on anything, because they probably have mentioned me on some questions. Just double check. Emergencies have a folder where invoices in PDF format. Okay, and then let's see if I got any activity. I got another chat here. Let's see. Oh, that was Mark. Okay. So that's a great day. I'm glad there was a lot of really good questions that came up. If you guys do have any other questions, please send them in. But we're going to be doing this, like I said, every week for the time being. Thursday mornings at 10 a.m., same thing. Please don't join the meeting. I've been seeing a lot of managers do this. You're joining the meeting, and I know it's very misleading, but I can't remove the function. There's still 2 people in that meeting right now. I'm not sure why. Or quite a few people. I'm not sure why you're in there. The confusion is that when you click on the meeting itself, there's this thing here on this purple button that looks so inviting. Don't click it. It's only for up to 25 people at a time. That's why we're using YouTube and not Teams. If it was just like 5 of us or like 20 to 25 of us, hey, yeah, we'll use the Microsoft Teams video chat function because it works beautifully for that. But it does cap at 25 people. It doesn't let you have more than 25 people in a meeting at a time. So unfortunately, we can't use that. So don't use that function. And there's still some people that are sadly lost there. I feel bad, but it's okay. They'll watch this video later. Yeah, so when I do post those, make sure that we're just waiting for this link like I posted in here. I think there's probably some more questions, right? I'll post it like this where we have a, oh, there we go. So it keeps bumping because of updates. We'll post this YouTube link here, and that's where you're going to be able to log in to the YouTube site where you can view that video and chat feature. So yeah, if there's any other little things, I'll answer them in mass scale. Just very important before I do let you guys go, make sure we understand this DJ document here for the proper naming conventions of files and where to store your files. We are absolutely serious that we want every property labeled in the exact same way. There's no exceptions to that. And right now, like I said, we're being very lenient because we're all learning. It's a process, but we will be very strong-handed about this in the future. So please make sure that you're sticking to the files. And sorry?
Special characters.
Yeah, and please watch out for special characters. No special characters in your file names. Name your file before you upload it correctly, and then upload your file, and you should be good. Do not rename files after you've started a conversation. Very important. Do not rename files after you've started a conversation on a file. The link gets broken, and you can try to find that file in the conversation area. It'll be there. You click on it and it'll open and say this file has moved because it doesn't recognize it says something like that. The file has moved, or it can't find the file or something like that. So yeah, just really be careful that we're using these filing conventions. This is for every property. And just I want to reiterate, Teams is not a request. We're not asking you to use Teams. We're saying this is the new mode of communication, efficiency of our day-to-day work within Dick James and Associates. So we're not asking, we're telling, with a smile on our face, as Jack so lovingly says. So yeah, if you ever have any questions, please chat me or text me or call me if you can. I'm going to try to get to everybody. It's been hard getting back to everybody right away, but I'm trying my best. So if you have any questions, do so. Otherwise, it was wonderful going over our first tips and tricks class today. I'll see you all next week.